I believe that abundant life, having life and have it more abundantly, as the one blood human race of Acts 17:26. Of one blood, God made all people to live together on the face of the earth. Now, the American dream for me is not about equity, but equal access, equality, and equal access to opportunity. With equity, everybody has to have the same thing, think alike, do alike, and if you don't, you're canceled. That's equity. But equal opportunity and human dignity and kindness towards each other and living together. The quote of Martin Luther King Jr., Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., my uncle, we must learn to live together as brothers and I'll add as sisters, or perish together as fools. So human dignity from the womb to the tomb, living the American dream is my work at AFPI. Speak for Life is also the really excellent quality of life. Human flourishing from the womb to the tomb. That's the poor, the rich, the sick, the elderly, the young, the old, the youngest. So those are my efforts. And I do that in many, many ways with writing, policy making, speaking, a little bit of arts and entertainment blended in. And so I'm a Christian evangelist who is helping human beings to reach that full human flourishing potential.
Wonderful, wonderful. That is amazing to hear, Dr. King. And, it does remind me of the fact that we serve a God who gives life. And it seems like you are just joining in that fight of trying to encourage human flourishing. It's a beautiful thing, and it's really a Christ-like thing.
Yes, absolutely. And so glad to join you. I was listening to your segment before you brought me on, and some of the issues that you were addressing are so very, very important. What we do for our young people, what we do with each other. We didn't mention Ukraine, but certainly, even though Jesus did say there'd be wars and rumors of wars, but how we conduct ourselves in those seasons is still very, very important. So,
amen. Yeah. Speaking of human dignity and talking about the abortion issue in America today, obviously there has been and is currently, it has been the case for decades, a direct premeditated attack on the unborn. Can you speak to this just a little bit? What hope do we see in the pro-life movement in these coming days?
Well, actually, statistics are showing us that people in America are caring more about life and human dignity from the womb to the tomb. And we are seeing that with what's happened in Texas with the heartbeat bill, over in Mississippi with the cases being argued now, the Dobbs case. Florida's doing something. Even here in Georgia, we're taking another look. So across the nation, people are beginning to be more aware. But I don't want to say but I want to say and.
Yeah.
What is happening in our various communities, like we're having this conversation here. So we live in an information age, Web 3, they're calling this one. I want to remind people that technology is not demonic in and of itself. It's the people who use the technology, who will use technology for good or for evil. So one thing that Christians do and sometimes conservatives do is pull away. Oh, we're not going to touch that. It's of the devil. Well, no, the technology really is not of the devil. It's what people do with it. So if you're like me, I've been with what they call throttled or something. And I used to have 6 million followers on Facebook. Now it's less than 100,000 sometimes. That kind of thing. But that will happen. But do your very best to, with your own websites, with any access to social media you have, be not overcome by evil, overcome evil with good. Other point, guns in of themselves are not evil. If you got a gun laying on the counter, it can't jump up and do anything.
Yep.
But it's what the people do with the weapons. I'm sorry, that was kind of funny to
Amen.
me.
Yes, you're exactly right, Dr. King. I have never once seen a gun jump up and harm someone. It's the person who uses it, right?
As it. So, and then you think about it, and I am for gun control and regulations and all of that. I don't think everybody should just have access to guns, but you choke you to death, poison you to death, punch you to death. I mean, it's the person
Amen.
that matters and the heart of the person. And that's whether we're dealing with Russia and Ukraine, the babies in the womb, And I'll give you this one, although you didn't ask me.
Sure.
These things that are happening to our children in the name of some religion called transgenderism, because that is a religion, believe it or not.
Yes.
So I have been telling parents, I said, if you have a child that really wants to have some surgery and all of that, and especially they're minor, under 18 or whatever, remind them that if they do it, the part that they remove will not ever grow back. So if they change their minds later, I'm not going to change my mind. I know. I say, honey, I know, but people do change their minds. I just want you to know that this won't grow back. So I'm saying that with that explanation. This is an attack on our children. Has nothing to do with adults making adult decisions. And so we need to be very mindful of that particular path, that and the abortion issue as well. I think it's very serious, even with the new Supreme Court debate on the new appointee. Looking at the young lady's past and her history, she fully supports abortion, or she has. And so what we have to consider there. Now, we had Lieutenant Governor Winston Sears over in Virginia, who recently won. Very little was said about who she is, what she represents. And even the African American community just disrespected her and looked the other way as if it didn't happen. And America did that primarily. But then you begin to celebrate something that is not going to support the flourishing of human life and human dignity. We have to remember. I don't even have to, people say, well, what would your uncle say? I said he would agree with God that we need to learn to live together as brothers and sisters, or perish together as fools. And so if we're going to do that, and he also said he had a dream that one day there would be no black power, no white power, only God power and human power. The babies in the womb are human beings.
Amen.
The children who are trying to identify their sexuality are human beings. You don't remove and cut off functional working body parts.
Hey, remember to click the subscribe button right here on the screen. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when new content is added. And more importantly than anything, you don't want to miss all 3 live hours of Financial Issues every day from 9 to noon. And you can watch it on FISM.TV. That's FISM.TV.